Hi there. So today we're going to be running through how to run a standard Ionic application on your mobile device and on the web. There were a couple of bugs that I had to get sorted out before I could start running it, and that's what I'm going to try to help you guys out with. Let me know in the comments if there were some bugs I missed. Maybe I can help you out with those as well. Alright, so first things first, you're going to have npm or node installed on your machine. I'm going to assume that you already have that, as maybe you've done something with React or other Angular stuff like that. All right, so first things first, we are going to start and build the Ionic application. So we're going to type in Ionic start. And it's going to run you through a series of steps on what you need to do to build the application. So first things first, we're going to define the project. We're going to put BLE scanner. And we're going to use the Angular framework. You can use the React framework, but I'm going to teach you guys how to set it up with the Angular framework. Let's start off with a blank application. And it's just going to run you through the steps. All right, so now that your application has been built, it's going to say where your application is. So it's going to be in a folder called BLE Scanner, which is in your current directory, which is on my desktop, as you can see right here. And then it's going to tell you that if you type in Ionic Serve, it will start up a web application. So we're going to start by doing that, just to see if it works. Oh, right. So first things first, move to the application directory. And then we're going to do Ionic Serve. And there we go. So as you can see, it's going to be on localhost 8100. And if you want to view your application, and I have it open right here. And as you can see, you have your blank template with on localhost 8100. So you have this button right here that takes you to the Angular docs. This just tells you how to create components into your web application, right? So you have like floating action buttons, you have checkboxes, buttons, cards, and basically it has everything just like just like you would see in an Android application, an iOS application, and a web application. It has all of them pre-built into Angular that you can use um, in this framework. All right, so that is your standard application, and as you can see now it runs on web. Next, we are going to close this, so we don't need this anymore, and we're going to try to see if we can run this on an Android device. As right now we're running on a Windows machine. Right now I don't have a Mac, so I can't really run it on an iPhone. Um, so I'm sorry about that tutorial, but right now we have a Windows, so we can run it on an Android device. We're going to do Ionic Cordova run Android as the command. And I'll tell you exactly what I did to get to this, but right now it should run smoothly. And I'll tell you about any issues that you might get on the way that you don't see right now. Okay, and right now I have an Android emulator connected to my device, to my computer, and that's why I'm able to see in my hand that the Android application is running. Anyway, so that was a success, but there could have been a lot of things that you had to watch out for. So first things first, I have Android Studio installed, so something called Android Studio, which allows you to run an emulator onto your machine. So in the cases of where you don't have an Android device. So right now, if we open up Android Studio, this is the splash screen for it, and you go to Configure, and you go to AVD Manager. Uh, this AVD Manager allows you to uh, run an Android virtual device, AVD. When you create a new virtual device, you can choose any Android device that's listed here. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. So I already have one built with Android 30, and we're gonna run this device. And here's my Pixel whatever I built. We're gonna start this up. Just minimize this, and here's my Android phone. Uh, yeah. So next we are going to do the exact same thing that we did before. Android Cordova run Android, but this time I've disconnected my actual Android phone and am running this emulator, so it will detect it, or Ionic will detect it and run my application on this device, hopefully. And of course, this is the second build, so the first build always has more, has a longer time to run, but this one's going to be fairly short. There we go. As you can see, it said no hardware devices found this time, and this time it's going to be attempting emulator, and as such, it attempted the emulator. So now you could see what I actually saw in my hand. You have the blank, and you have ready to create an app. Some of the things that I ran into as problems were one, SDK, and two, the Gradle. So in the Angular docs, it says that if you want the SDK installed and the Gradle installed, all you have to do is install Android Studio. However, when I did that, let's just see, run um, Android app Ionic deploying. Okay, so it says Java JDK and Android Studio, right? Um, and it said that if you so you have to have JDK 8, and you have to have Android Studio with the SDK tools. And then you basically just have to run Ionic Cordova run Android. However, I tried doing this even when Android Studio is installed, the SDK is installed, the AVD is installed, the JDK is installed. It still didn't run. So what I had to do was manually install it. If you go and search up like um, thing JDK Java JDK 8 and you install it, you should be able to install it on your device, preferably in where is it? Program files, Java, and here you see I have JDK 1.8, so this is JDK 8. I also have JDK 11, but it says specifically to install JDK 8, so that's the one that I did. That's only one of the steps. Then you have to go to env, which is environmental variables, um, and you have to go to Java Home, edit that, and then you have to put in your directory here, um, which is the one that which is what I just showed you right here. Program files, Java, JDK directory. Then you have to go to your path. When you edit your path, you have to add a new environmental variable. So you click on new, and you add a new variable at the bottom here, um, called, or with the same path, program files, Java, JDK, but this time you want to include um, the backslash bin folder. Um, that's the only difference between the path and the Java home. So you want to do both of those things. So even though you have JDK now installed on your device, when you run your Ionic application, it needs to detect that JDK is on your device, and the only way you could do that is if you have a path in your environmental variables. Next is the Gradle. So the Gradle automatically installs when you install Android Studio, right? Like it has Gradle built in. However, that's not how it was for me, so I had to do it manually. If you go to Gradle releases, right, you have gradle.org/releases. It's that simple. Just download um, binary only, I guess. And I downloaded 6.8.3. So you download that, you extract it, and then you take the folder. Oh, you take the folder and you go to your and you place it anywhere you want, preferably in an easy location. And I just placed it in my C drive, so I put it a Gradle folder right here and Gradle 6.8.3. It's that simple. Uh, Actually, yeah, okay, exactly. Next, you want to do the exact same thing that you did with Java. So after you put the Gradle folder there, you need to make sure that Ionic can recognize it. So you put the Gradle path, Gradle 6.8.3, and then you also put the bin directory, um, or the bin folder. So you do that both with Java and Gradle, and that's it. You're done. Now, when you run your Ionic application, like I did on your Android emulator or your personal Android device, it will recognize the Gradle and it will recognize the JDK. And that's it. You've deployed your application. And thanks for watching. So now our next video will explain how to customize your application with the UI components we saw in the Angular docs.